Nephrons are the physiological units of the kidney used for the filtration of blood, reabsorption, and secretion of materials. Each kidney has nearly 1 million nephrons. Nephron has two parts. They are the glomerulus and the renal tubule. Glomerulus is a tuft of capillaries formed by the afferent arteriole. It is the site for blood filtration and it operates as a non-specific filter. That means it removes both useful and non-useful materials. The product of the glomerulus is called the glomerular filtrate. Afferent arteriole is a fine branch of renal artery transports blood to the glomerulus for filtration. Blood from the glomerulus is carried away by an efferent arteriole to the peritubular capillaries and the vasa recta and to the kidney's venous system. The renal tubule consists of Bowman's capsule, proximal convolutal tubule, loop of Henle, distal convoluted tubule, and the collecting duct. Renal tubule begins with Bowman's capsule, which is a double-walled cup-like structure. The glomerulus, along with the Bowman's capsule, is called the renal corpuscle or the Malpighian tubule. Bowman's capsule encloses the glomerulus and it transfers the glomerular filtrate to the proximal convoluted tubule. Proximal convoluted tubule is a highly coiled network and a highly active segment of the nephron which reabsorbs the most of the useful substance of the filtrate like sodium, water, bicarbonate, chloride and glucose. Also, proximal convolutal tubule is the primary site for elimination of drugs, waste and hydrogen ions. The next part of the tubule is a hairpin-shaped loop of Henle. It consists of a descending limb and an ascending limb. It begins in the cortex and extends into the medulla, and then it returns back to the cortex. It receives filtrate from the proximal convoluted tubule and passes to the distal convoluted tubule. Its primary role is to concentrate the salt in the tissues surrounding the loop of Henle called interstitium. The descending and the ascending limb of loop of Henle are the part of countercurrent multiplier. The descending limb of loop of Henle is fully permeable to water and completely impermeable to the solutes. It receives filtrate from the proximal convoluted tubule, allows the water to be absorbed and passes salty filtrate to the next segment. Thus, it saves the water and passes the salt. The ascending limb of loop of Henle is impermeable to water and actively reabsorbs salt to the tissues surrounding the loop of Henle. Thus, it saves the salt and passes the water. As a result, the passing filtrate become dilute and the tissue surrounding the loop of Henle, that is the interstitium, become hyperosmotic. The ascending limb of loop of Henle continues to another highly coiled tubular region called distal convoluted tubule. It is the variably active portion of the nephron, which receives dilute fluid from the ascending limb of loop of Henle. The distal convoluted tubules of many nephrons open into a straight tube called collecting duct. Collecting duct is also a variably active portion of the nephron. It receives fluid from distal convoluted tubule and it is the last segment to save water for the body. The collecting ducts converge in the medullary pyramids and opens into the renal pelvis through the renal calyces. The Malpighian corpuscle, proximal convoluted tubule and the distal convoluted tubule of the nephron are situated in the cortical region of the kidney, whereas the loop of Henle dips into the medulla. In majority of nephrons, the loop of Henle is too short and extends only very little into the medulla. Such nephrons are called cortical nephrons. In some of the nephrons, the loop of Henle is very long and runs deep into the medulla. These nephrons are called juxtamedullary nephrons. The efferent arteriole emerging from the glomerulus form a fine capillary network around the renal tubule called peritubular capillaries. A minute vessel of this network runs parallel to the loop of Henle, forming a U-shaped vasa recta. Vasa recta is absent or highly reduced in cortical nephrons. Do you like to know more about kidneys? Visit our YouTube channel NEPHRONS and Beyond. ഈ വീഡിയോ മലയാളത്തിൽ കാണാനായി ഡിസ്ക്രിപ്ഷനിലെ ലിങ്കിൽ ക്ലിക്ക് ചെയ്യൂ.